be like those other plural families where, you know, they finally got it figured out and they got over whatever the issues and stuff and found their.
As the sun set low over Flagstaff, casting a golden glow across the desert horizon, the TLC crew was just getting started. For weeks, whispers had been circulating online, mysterious Reddit posts, shaky leaked videos, wild speculation on fan forums, but now here it was. Cameras were rolling. Kody Brown was auditioning new wives. In a former warehouse, now camouflaged as a studio, the air crackled with tension. Harsh studio lights glowed through velvet curtains and plastic ivy, arranged to look like some kind of spiritual sanctuary. Kody was in the center, nervously perched on a plush velvet chair. 5 cameras stared back at him. He squirmed, fingers twitching. One of the crew members leaned forward and spoke softly. "Kody, this can be your new beginning." But behind the scenes, things were shattering. Robyn, who thought she was calling the shots, had no idea the shoot had even begun. Worse, the entire concept was hers to start with. She'd pitched it jokingly, almost sarcastically, something about spiritual compatibility and beginning anew, maybe even getting some sympathy on the part of the audience with their shattered bank accounts. But TLC did not get the joke. They ran with it. Hard. Brand strategists were hired. Open submissions were launched. Casting directors searched through videos. And soon Robyn was watching her own life play out from the outside. 1 block from the studio, she sat in her parked SUV, shaking. Her phone buzzed, an angry crew member had just leaked footage to her. She played the clip and screamed. "They're lining them up like cattle," she cried. "Kody didn't even warn me." Tears streaked through her mascara as she slapped the steering wheel and cracked a fingernail. "I gave him everything, and now I'm disposable." In the studio, meanwhile, the audition room was like something from a dream. One woman arrived wearing a prairie dress, claiming she'd had a spiritual vision of Kody. Another claimed their chakras were aligned. A third was a TikTok influencer who wanted to co-parent for things. Kody listened seriously, sipping from a stainless steel thermos. His questions were unusually specific. "So, would you be comfortable living off the grid? Do you subscribe to headship? Is family unity important to you?" But contestant number 7 changed everything. She walked in with a quiet, commanding presence, jeans, black blazer, a voice like frost. "I'm not here for Kody," she said. "I'm here to destroy the illusion." Then she pulled out a stack of printed emails between Robyn and the network, proving Robyn had sparked this entire circus. Robyn never expected it to get out, and certainly not like this. Her meltdown was caught on tape. Barefoot, pacing back and forth across her hardwood floors, she cracked. The confessional crew remained quietly to the side, still rolling. Robyn screamed, "I made this show. When they all left Kody, I stood by him." A family picture went flying, shattered on the floor. "This was supposed to be our redemption arc," she sobbed, clutching her chest, gasping. Looking through a broken door was her youngest child, eyes wide. That uncut breakdown, it was leaked too. TLC debated, argued, even. Was it ethical to air something so raw, so real? But ultimately, they couldn't look away. And neither could the audience. In Utah, Meri watched the stolen audition video from her Airbnb, her face hard. She muttered during a live stream, "You've gotta be kidding me. What even is this? Casting wives like it's American Idol." Fans flooded the chat. Going back to her RV, Janelle let out a sarcastic hoot of laughter. "Well," she told speakerphone, "at least now Robyn has some idea how it feels." And then, with a dry kind of wisdom, "Kody's faithful until the next catastrophe." And in fact, none of them were surprised. They were both right, ultimately. 7, the woman who turned the whole world upside down, returned. Not as another would-be wife, but as something else entirely. Kody met her with that same crooked smile. "You're a firecracker," he told her. "You stood up to Robyn, you could really make some difference." She did not smile in return. She leaned forward, her voice silky but pointed. "I'm actually a freelance documentarian, and I recorded all of my auditions on various contracts." Kody's expression closed off. In an instant, she slid a folder across the table. "Legal documents, a signed release. This tape, it belongs to me, and I am not producing a reality show. I'm producing a documentary, about you, about all of this." Kody's mouth fell open. Nothing came out. That night, social media went wild. Robyn is breaking down, while Kody is auditioning wives on national TV. This is insane. Justice for Janelle and Meri. Contestant 7 is a legend. Who is she? It hit the headlines in hours. TMZ, page 6. A contestant's hidden documentary explodes Kody Brown's wife audition scams. TLC in crisis. The network had an emergency meeting. Legal, PR, top producers, all in a panic. Kody didn't speak. No calls, no statements, no interviews. Robyn stopped opening her door. Neighbors saw her walking back and forth on her front porch, in pajamas and bare feet, with champagne in hand. Rumors circulated that her children had been moved to live with family members. Then she went on Instagram. "I never wanted fame, just family. Be careful what you build. It might crumble under you." TLC thought about pulling the plug entirely, but the ratings were undeniable. Since the leak, they'd doubled the viewership. Far from stepping back, they pressed on. They dropped a trailer. This fall, from the ashes of betrayal, a new chapter begins. But is it real or another illusion? Sister Wives. But that was only the first drop. The mysterious woman had a name finally: Elena Morse. Independent journalist, former fundamentalist, and the one who had managed to sneak into Kody's new casting call. Her documentary came out of nowhere. Title: The Prophet's Illusion. Subheading: Behind the Collapse of the Brown Family. A leading streaming platform bought it. The opening scene was raw and unflinching. Robyn's total emotional collapse. Shots done at the auditions, never meant to be shown. Producers mocking the Browns behind the scenes. Kody, in private confessions, referring to his wives as ungrateful and blaming his kids for betrayal. And then the whisper. Robyn, out of camera range, telling Kody what to say in pre-interviews. Tell them it's about unity. Tell them you love them all equally. And then another clip. The cameras cut away. Kody loses his temper. "This is not what I wanted. I wanted control again." The final shot was creepy. The creeping pan across the cul-de-sac to 4 houses. All dark, all cold, all empty. Then silence. 2 days later, Robyn surfaced again. She sat for an evening interview with a leading news anchor. In a dark green top, face pale, voice steady. It was not over the top. It was not constructed. It was real. It was honest. "Robyn, did you know the wife audition project would come back to haunt you?" the host asked gently. Robyn nodded, her voice cracking. "No, I was trying to keep the show on the air, maintain our reputation. I never thought it would go this far." She opened up, discussing Kody's emotional distance, the way he'd closed off completely to the cameras, not the family. She admitted she'd known for years he was moving away from her. But she stayed. She didn't want to be the last woman left standing, the last wife who remained. "I was afraid," she said to them, tears glistening. "I thought if I just stayed loyal, I'd be alone. But being loyal to Kody, it's like disappearing. The more you lose, the less there is of you." They wept about it, they ridiculed it. Then a tidal wave none of them foresaw. Kody's adult children started to make their voices heard, one by one. Madison, Logan, Gwendolyn. They posted reaction videos. Unfiltered, unedited. On TikTok, Gwendolyn censored not. He replaced real connection with camera time, thought having a new wife would fix all. Never knew he was the problem. Gabriel's was more gentle, but more heartbreaking. In black and white, still mourning the loss of Brother Garrison, he posted on Instagram. He didn't even go to his own son's funeral, but he conducted auditions for TV strangers. "That's it. I have nothing more to say." And then, out of the blue, Robyn's own son Dadden, usually reserved and off the grid, broke his silence. "Masks aren't always for strangers," he tweeted. "Sometimes they're for the people who said they'd keep you safe." Whispers ran rampant. Was Robyn holding back? Was Kody playing games with her kids too? And then, Meri. She began a podcast named Undoing the Lie. Pacing, unspooling episodes, stripping away her perception of reality. The internet was on fire by the 3rd episode. "Robyn wept for cameras," Meri said, matter-of-factly. But secretly, in the background, she was plotting her legal wedded union with Kody. While we were grieving, she was signing papers. Meri threatened to provide proof, financial documents, voice recordings, even texts. She accused Robyn of draining family funds into her Flagstaff mansion. Fans demanded receipts. She teased a coming bombshell episode. How the Browns were bled dry. The $820,000 lie. And then Kody cracked. He went live for the first time. Darkened room, Bible on the table in front of him. He was exhausted, seething, shattered. "Everyone betrayed me," he stated. "My wives, my children, even the crew. I thought we were restoring something sacred, but they turned it into a witch hunt." He claimed he'd been spiritually ambushed, targeted, canceled. But when one viewer asked if he was sorry about the wife auditions, his cool was broken. "No," he snapped. "I was told that's how we save the brand. And what did they do? Nothing. They all hung their hats on my meltdown." He slammed down his coffee mug. The stream cut off several seconds later. 3 days later, TLC confirmed. Sister Wives after 18 years was canceled. The network said it was for safety and privacy reasons, but thank the family, the crew, and the dedicated fans. In the background, the gossip continued. Stories about Robyn threatening to sue. That Meri would only shoot if she retained sole editing rights. That Kody was insisting on cash up front. The show was over, but not the drama. Janelle signed a book contract. Title, Leaving the Dust. My Life After Kody. Meri's podcast reached the top 10 on Spotify. Robyn reportedly sold the Flagstaff mansion for a loss and slipped away to Utah. Kody was out of sight. There were rumors he'd checked himself into a remote compound for fundamentalists, but the one who opened everything wide open, Elena Morse. She didn't merely speak, she signed a multi-million-dollar deal for a tell-all documentary, Children of the Covenant, The Rise and Ruin of Reality Polygamy Behind Closed Doors. While the rest of the world was busy moving ahead, a storm of a very legal kind was quietly brewing in a sealed Salt Lake City courtroom. No press, no public admission, just filings and rage. For years, Meri and Janelle were sidekicks in Kody's polygamous circus. But now, they were calling the shots. In addition to TLC, both Robyn Brown and Kody, and even 2 ex-executive producers, were included as co-defendants in a surprise suit. The charges: financial exploitation, emotional manipulation, and worst of all, willful misrepresentation by deceitful contracts. Their attorneys didn't skate cheaply. There were over 3,000 pages of internal memos, contracts, and emails detailing the fraud in black and white. It was made known that Kody and Robyn had entered into a secret executive agreement behind the backs of the other wives. And Robyn, she wasn't just a wife, she was installed as the new creative genius behind the show. News from the producers confirmed it. The trail of money made it irrefutable. Family LLC checks, endorsed by Robyn, were spent on her private security detail, lavish decor, even legal consultation to oversee Dayton's adult guardianship trust. But what disturbed investigators the most was the profit-sharing sheets for 2020-2023. While Meri and Janelle were introduced as equal business partners, Kody and Robyn had pocketed over 60% of each payment received from TLC. It all came crashing down when Kody got served outside a Flagstaff gym of all places. Having tried to keep his head down, he was ambushed. In rage, he tore open the envelope and hurled it at a nearby reporter. "This is a setup," he growled. But once the dust had settled, the facts didn't lie. His checks had cleared. The trail of money was traceable. And his response? He labeled it a vendetta, said Meri and Janelle had been poisoned by bitterness. In private, though, he was falling apart. His house was for sale. Property taxes were behind. Robyn had commandeered the guest bedroom. And now his attorneys warned, if convicted of misusing LLC funds, he could face not only civil penalties but criminal indictment as well. TLC, in chaos, couldn't provide a final season, but they did have one more trick up their collective sleeve. A single, uncut, independently produced reunion special, One Last Conversation. It wasn't edited, it wasn't sanitized, and it wasn't hosted by any of the Brown family members. Just a reporter without agenda, questioning everyone what they all needed to know. Everyone willing and alive was invited. Robyn was the last to enter. White, shivering, silent. They stood in a wide semicircle, inches apart. Then judgment. "Meri," said the host, "you called yourself the glue, but what if you were the scissors the whole time?" "Janelle," another one chimed in, "you discussed guard while quietly tapping the pot. We believed you, we defended you." Kody, furious, responded, "You two were always upset with her. She was the only one who stayed." Janelle blinked not. "We didn't leave, you pushed us." And then the reporter spiked us with a curve. A leaked memo from the producer, prior to Christine's departure, outlining something called the Robyn rebrand. It was all there. Strategy to quietly phase out Meri and Janelle from core episodes. Feature Robyn's kids as the center of every tale. Cut fights so Robyn was the emotional focus. A total PR switcheroo, cooked up in secret. Robyn's face fell into her hands. She didn't speak for the first time ever. There was silence until she stood up. She shook, she trembled. "I didn't ask for this," she whispered. "All I ever wanted to be safe. I thought if I had a say on the show, my kids would be okay. I was just trying to survive." Then she glanced at Kody. "But you told me to. You said either them or us." Kody glared back and didn't say a word. She didn't protest. She didn't justify. She just stepped off the stage, tears welling in her eyes. "Now they all despise me," she whispered. "It's all gone." Security ushered her off stage quietly. In a matter of minutes, the clip appeared on the viral lists. The backlash was immediate. Whispers of a multi-million-dollar payout spread quickly. The The Brown family corporate entity shuttered discreetly. Meri and Janelle's suit filed clandestinely. Robyn's over-the-top Flagstaff mansion sold for pennies on the dollar. And Kody, he vanished from the public eye. He was seen only once, under a pseudonym, at a spiritual retreat near Moab, Utah, after he had moved into a little house in the area. Christine, remarried and content, refused to comment. The Brown family's social media feeds disappeared. No tweets, no posts, silence. And then, that final documentary. Filmmaker Elena Morse was back with a 2-hour special. The breakdown of a covenant, shot on a Utah mountainside with Meri and Janelle. It's the last scene. The two women sit side by side on a wooden bench, gazing out over the Wasatch Mountains. They drink coffee in silence. After a long hiatus, Meri finally breaks the silence. Years, he was everything to us. Janelle responds softly. But we were never his. Their mugs meet with a gentle clink. Fade to black. Season 19 uncovered Kody Brown's broken relationships. It dismantled the fabric the show was built on. The tell-all special forced him to confront years of favoritism, denial, and emotional abandonment. Even once filming ended, though, Christine had more to say. Her new book, Sister Wife, a memoir of faith, family, and ending freedom, shares one of the most painful moments from Season 1. Christine read about this chapter in a recent Instagram reel on Truly Brown's birth in Season 1, Episode 4. Kody did not go to the hospital where she delivered. Why? Because he cut out for some time with Robyn Brown, his then-fiancée. Christine's water had been broken. Her blood pressure was declining. Truly was high risk and in peril. She had already miscarried the year before. Despite all of this, she still had to personally call Kody and ask him to come back. But he wasn't in a rush, no worry. He informed her that he needed to grab his bag. How does she like my labor? Christine quips in the video, a sarcastic grin at the camera. Fans have debated the moment for decades. Why didn't someone else go fetch Kody's belongings and bring them to the hospital? Was he really just calling in on his kids, perhaps more so making time for Robyn? Later footage filmed Kody and Robyn sharing a kiss, as they tried to hide it from the cameras. They'd claimed their relationship was humble, church-sanctioned, and chaste. But now, that manufactured narrative has fallen apart. The favoritism, the secrecy, the emotional destruction that was left behind. It's all out there. When the cameras rolled, you'd think someone going through a fragile emotional family transition might try to hide, or at least keep a low profile. But Robyn and Kody, they did the opposite. They leaned into it. Kody even made a twisted little joke about kissing his girlfriend while his wife was in labor. And Robyn, she closed the door behind her as if delivering lines in a theater play, rather than guarding a secret moment. Think about being Wooly. Not only was she putting herself through a dangerous labor by herself, but she had to see it all afterward, the betrayal, the indifference, forever visible on national television. Her ex-husband, the one she loved, was off joking around with his fiancée instead of by her side when their daughter Truly was born. But Kody wasn't just physically absent, he was emotionally absent too. While Wooly was going through one of the most humbling experiences a woman can face, Kody was flirting with the doctor about IVF options for Meri. The timing, inconceivable. The insensitivity, unforgivable. Even the doctor looked stunned by the poorly timed conversation. And yet, fast forward a year, Kody is there for each and every moment of Robyn's labor with Solomon Brown. Each and every one. Each and every gasp. The contrast couldn't be greater. This was just the beginning of a shift that would change everything for the other wives. From the moment that Robyn entered the picture, everything started to tip in her favor, and the others were aware of it. Wooly herself continued to tell the story of Truly's arrival in her autobiography, and it's easy to see why. It was the wake-up call. It was when she finally knew the truth. Kody had never been as committed to her as she had been to him. Season 19 of Sister Wives didn't just hint at those cracks, it exposed them. Christine, Janelle, and Meri were done. The show laid it all bare. Kody wasn't dealing with them honestly, not even remotely. And instead of having to look long in the mirror, he finger-pointed, most notably at Robyn, blissfully quiet in the background, her screen time up as her contribution dwindled. But then came something real, something genuine. In a tell-all sit-down with host Suki Krishnan, Kody was shown photos of Christine and her new beau, David Wooly. The love, the joy, the real love. It was the complete opposite of the chilly, desiccated relationship she'd shared with Kody. When questioned about it, Kody claimed to be happy for Christine, that she'd finally found the kind of love she'd always sought. On the surface, his words had been adult-sounding, near benevolent, but they revealed more. Innocently, Kody admitted what the world had already seen, that he'd not really been there with any of his wives, except for Robyn. Christine opened up later in her own interview. The lack of intimacy, that emotional and physical space, was the real reason their marriage collapsed. But in her new world with David, she radiates joy. Season 19 had them laughing, touching, falling in love. It wasn't all public displays of affection. It was a new beginning. And Kody, he tried to brush those 25 years with Christine aside as a just good time experience. Loose, distant. But the more he talks like that, the clearer it is the emotional distance wasn't imagined. The affection, selected, and his affair with Robyn, always the exception. And still, Kody couldn't quite himself believe that such favoritism, such clear leaning in Robyn's direction, was the real reason the family fell apart. Instead, he clung to the version where everyone was equally at fault. But the story, the real story, tells otherwise. But then something truly refreshing came along, contrast that couldn't have been more stark. When David and Christine were shown the identical video, their reaction was authentic, sincere, and completely unguarded. No theatrics, no defensiveness. Christine didn't whine victim. She didn't accuse. She simply acknowledged a whispered reality. She is now in a marriage where she feels heard, seen, and genuinely loved. David, he never beat around the bush. He said what he meant. In his eyes, Christine had spent a lifetime feeling unwanted in her first marriage. And not just her. Their daughter Isabel, 22, also opened up. She spoke of how her father, Kody, deprived her of the love she so desperately craved as a child. That sort of deprivation leaves its scars. But now, things have changed. Christine's kids embrace the joy her mother has found. They're not uncomfortable about her love for David. They accept it because they know how whole she is. In season 19 of Sister Wives, the message is as clear as day. As long as Christine is happy, so are her children. And what about Christine herself? She has reconciled with the past. There's no lingering bitterness, no need to dig it all up. She's moved on, and she's emerging with honesty and confidence. Even Meri and Janelle seem to be done with the drama, both of them determined to chip away at new paths, new lives, new identities. They're not trapped by old wounds anymore. But then there's Kody and Robyn. While the others have moved on, Kody and Robyn are where they belong in the past, clinging to anger, rehashing old tales, and refusing to get on with it. Instead of accepting what's happened, they've chosen to redefine it. Kody, especially, has flipped. The man who used to brag to everyone that he fought tooth and nail to keep his marriages alive is now quietly minimizing those very same unions, redefining them as little, irrelevant. Why? Because it's easier than facing the truth, that he betrayed the women he once pledged to love. So here we are, watching a man rewriting history, not in an effort to heal, but to rescue his ego. Let us know what you think in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more in-depth examinations of the stories behind the scenes. Thanks for being with us.